Stop wasting time doing traditional activities and try this instead for Red Ribbon Week. Here's the big idea of today's video. Engage your students with interactive and impactful activities for Red Ribbon Week this year. Or really, any initiative or event that you're trying to promote at your school. And so, here's what I mean. And these are just a couple of examples. Instead of just handing out ribbons, and you know you're just thinking about doing that, we used to create a declaration not to use drugs. So think about like the Declaration of Independence, but like gigantic. And you put it somewhere in the hall, you make it out of like a lot of pieces of butcher paper, and you let kids sign it with red Sharpies that are hanging from the ceiling. And so let me set your expectations though. Yes, some of your kids might steal the Sharpies. And yes, if you work in a middle school or a high school, kids are gonna write some dumb stuff on there. But inevitably, this is going to be an experience that allows students to reflect on drug use and abuse. And for some students, it might even be a crossroads where they're considering using or trying drugs. And they just might look at all of the other kids that are signing this declaration and see that maybe it's not true that everyone's doing it. So that was just one idea. I'm gonna go ahead and rapid fire some of the things that I've heard about other counselors do, or when I'm in my travels doing PD and stuff, I've seen other schools do during Red Ribbon Week. Schools have done role plays in the cafeteria where they help students to practice saying no in front of other people, and they give out like ice cream cups or treats or Takis or whatever to the participants. Maybe in some schools you've seen this, random hallway overhead lights were wrapped in red cellophane for a cool red glowing effect. Again, giving students the opportunity to just stop and think for a second why that's happening. Sometimes there are people that have guest speakers in. I even saw a high school that had a really cool live podcast be filmed in the cafeteria during a lunch period. In other schools, I've heard about the police officers and sheriffs bringing in K-9 units for students to learn a little bit more about the way that drugs impact communities. Another cool thing that I've heard about people do is that they have staff members, like within a staff meeting confidentially, talk about the ways that drugs have impacted their families or their communities, helping the teachers to remind themselves and to remind each other the impact that they're having on students when they are celebrating Red Ribbon Week. Again, here's the moral of the story. Make Red Ribbon Week meaningful and memorable. And if you're looking for a good lesson, we have some good ones at www.candou.us. That's our 9 through 12 curriculum, but it's totally appropriate for 6 through 8 as well. We have lessons on Red Ribbon Week, drug use and abuse and stuff like that. But again, you're making a much bigger impact than you know you are. So celebrate Red Ribbon Week and celebrate it well. Talk soon.